Welcome to the Accessibility Guide channel. Today we are doing episode 3 of making college PDFs accessible. In this week's episode, let's take a look at Moorpark College. I like to always navigate to the homepage of the college, so we're on moorparkcollege.edu, and I'm going to go to the search button and simply select .pdf. I tend to just click the very first link. Let's check out forms and documents. And here we have course wellness, direct deposit authorization, employee absent report. Let's go ahead and check out the course wellness document. And we are going to download this form and let's review. When I am looking at a new document, the very first thing I like to personally do is open up the tags panel to review the tags in the document. Now, right away, I can already tell that this document came out of Microsoft Word because of all of the blank spaces in the file. It appears that everything is under a single P tag, which is not a great thing to have. There are no headings in the document. Many of the form fields just simply do not exist, and there is an overall lack of accessibility from within this file. Let's go ahead and open up our tools menu and select the prepare for accessibility option, and then let's run the accessibility check to start checking. Looks like we have a couple of issues, like the primary language has failed, the title has failed, we have a character encoding failure. Oh, it's on all of those check boxes. And then we have a variety of issues with tagged form fields. So let's go ahead and start making this document accessible. The very first step that I like to do these days is run the auto tagger. And the document's already tagged, but it's not very good. So let's go ahead and just run the auto tagger again. And I don't know if this is going to be any better. This is interesting. So it did put in some section tags, but we still have quite a bit of work. So the first thing I like to do is add a document tag to the accessibility panel. To do that, I'm going to right click in the tags panel, select new tag, and then type the word document. And then we can move all of the existing tag structure underneath that document tag. Now from here, there's sort of a variety of things we can do. I'm gonna leave this print form button alone for now. We'll come back to it. Clearly, this text on the very top should be the heading level 1. So we can update this tag by simply pressing F2 on the keyboard and changing it to an H1. And then let's continue to walk through the tags panel. We have a P tag, we have a note, which is a P tag. It can stay that way, it's fine. Another P tag, and then we start getting into the form fields. So this is where things are going to start to get a little bit tricky, but let's jump right in. The first thing that I like to do is sort of split apart the text here. So I'm just going to create a couple of blank P tags by right-clicking in the tags panel and selecting a new P tag. Now from here, I'm going to select the word name, go up to the options button from the tags panel and select create tag from selection. And then we're going to do the same thing for the college text. And all that really does so far is it breaks apart the text from the actual form fields, which are not tagged anyways. And then these underlines, we can artifact them. So I'm going to select both of these objects from underneath this P tag, right click them and select change tag to artifact. And then we could delete that blank P tag out. All right, now inside of these P tags, we need to have a form parent tag. So let's right click, select new tag and type form. And we're going to do that for the next tag underneath also. And the next step is we need to actually find these form fields. So they might be in here somewhere inside of the tag structure, but it doesn't appear that it is. So there's a couple of different ways we can get these tags in there. This is what I personally like to do. I like to go to like the bottom of the document or maybe the bottom of the specific page that I'm working on. And let's just go to the bottom. And I'm going to create a new tag, and it can be whatever we want. I could even call it form placeholders. And I'm going to select that tag, and then we're going to do what's called the find feature. So on the options panel from the accessibility tags area, I'm going to select find. From here, I'm going to change the drop down menu to unmarked annotations, which essentially is, in this example, I'm looking for the form fields. And let's go ahead and just search the whole document, and then let's select find. And it automatically takes me to the very first thing that is found in the document, and let's just tag that element. And we're just gonna tag all of these. They're not in any particular order right now. And what this is doing is it's creating individual object references inside of this placeholder area. So now I can find my name and college fields and move them to the right location. So let's go ahead and drag them out. I believe they were somewhere here. If you hold your mouse, it will actually expand these by themselves. And I'm going to move both tags under the name property for now. And then let's expand the other menu and we can move the college down to college. So now in this parent P tag, we have name, we have form field, and then we have the next one, college, and then form field and the object reference. Let's go ahead and make sure that our tooltip is set appropriately. To do this, we're actually going to open up the prepare a form option. For some reason, this looks different than what I was anticipating. All right, let's close that out and let's try this again. What I'm looking for is the ability to update the tooltip. Let's go ahead and save the file. Maybe that's causing me an issue. Let's do save as. And this is definitely bugging out on me. I'm gonna close the file and reopen it. Now let's see if we can get into the prepare form options. Interesting, it's telling me this is an XFA form. That doesn't make any sense. Let's take a look and see. I'm gonna select the menu button, select properties. Interesting, and this was made by Word. This should not be an XFA form. I have a feeling there is a major bug happening here. Let's just see what happens if we add another text field. And it's not letting me add a text field. So this is fun. I think I have found a bug. All right, let's back out of the form field area. Well, where do we go from here? The only thing I know what to do now is to possibly extract these pages out as separate pages, but those options are gone too. We also have no security on here. The only thing I can think of is that maybe this is a really old version of the form and it is not playing well with the new version of Acrobat. I don't want to go down this path, but I don't think I have another option of disabling my Acrobat and turning on the new version of it. So there used to be a trick where you could extract out these pages. Let's go ahead and try it anyways. So I'm right clicking the thumbnail and selecting extract, and let's extract the pages as separate files because there's only 2 pages. And let's just see what we get into here. I don't even know if this is going to work. Well, we've got 1 page, but where's the second page? All right, I'm selecting the page, right clicking it, and then selecting extract pages. Let's throw this on the desktop. And then what I'm gonna do is after I've extracted those pages, I'm actually going to combine them. So let's insert a page from file, desktop, Moorpark 2. All right, now let's save a new copy of this file. File save as. How interesting. All right, I'm gonna close the other file. Let's see if our tag structure is in here at all. Okay, it's still there. Let's see if we can open up this form editor again. So I open up the tools panel and then we select prepare for form. Aha! So I was able to finally get into the form fields. What a journey that was. The only thing I can think of is that we have a major versioning issue, but by doing the extraction, I was able to get this file to a state that we can now edit. So all I wanted to do, the whole purpose of this, was I wanted to update the tooltip. So let's right click the name field, select properties, and we have the name in here as topmost subform page 1. Perhaps this was an XFA document. There's definitely some weird formatting on the back end of this though. And then for the tooltip, you can always put a little more guidance. Name is gonna be fine, but we might change it to employee name, just so there's no confusion. And then for the college, let's right click it, select properties, and we'll say college name with a colon and select close. And then let's get out of this prepare form options for now. Let's go back to the tags panel. I still can't get over what a doozy that was. But now it looks like, all right, let's go ahead and keep moving through this file. We now have employee ID number and classification and several other form fields. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 areas that we need to add some placeholders for, or at least this is what I like to do. So I'm just right-clicking tags panel, creating some additional blank p tags so that I can tag this text. Now again, there's multiple ways you do this. This is just the method I like to use. Going through each one of the p tags, I'm selecting it, highlighting the text, and then using the create tag from selection option, because this just makes it a little easier to get all of the text where I want it. Take time to take days. Whoops. Take start date, create tag from selection. Let's do another tag, end date, tag from, what do we have? We have these lines. Perfect. So we'll just select all of these lines and we'll right click them and select change tag to artifact, layout. Okay. All right. Now all of these p tags that we made, we need to throw in the form fields. So I'm going to right click in each one of those containers and select create tag. I'm creating a form tag on each of these. And the more you do this, the faster you get at it. Right click, tag form, right click, tag form, and we just repeat it through all of these little sections here. Now we need to go find our object references that we from earlier. We're looking for this one and this one, this one, this, not that one. I'm holding my control key while I'm selecting these items in an attempt to find all these form fields. And then I'm just going to use my mouse to click and drag them. And I'm going to put them all in the first one, then we'll just move them where we need to. So this first one needs to down to end date. So I'm going to click and drag, start date, and I'm making these child objects of their parent tag. This one's under days. This one's time. And this honestly just is time consuming. You'll learn working in PDFs that that's usually the hardest part, is it just takes forever to move all of these things to the right location. But once you do that, you have a much stronger document. So if you notice now, all of these p tags have the correct form fields and our content is looking a lot better, but we still have a long way to go. What will this course credit be applied to? Now, while it's not really a heading level 2, I'm going to go ahead and make it a heading level 2 just because I want to have a little bit of structure in this document. Now we get into the fun area of a list. All right, let's tackle this list element, which does not need to be in a list. We have a checkbox and a form field. So I'm going to start creating some placeholders. We've got 5 checkboxes, so I'm going to create 5 placeholders. Now, there may be a faster way to do this, but this is what makes sense to my brain right now. All right, so we have the one form field. That's good. I'm going to drag this element into my p tag up above. And then we also need the text for that section, which is going to be degree program. And then let's see if we can find the form field for the specified program. I thought I had created that placeholder. Oh, here we go. Form placeholders. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to create another form field. And then let's move that form inside of it. So now in our p tag, we have the form field for the checkbox and the text, and then the other form field. But this is pretty tricky because we also have a reference tag here with the number 1. And so there's a couple of different ways we can tackle this. Let's go ahead and use the reading order tool under prepare for accessibility, reading order tool. And then I'm going to just select that number 1 and let's mark it as a reference. Okay. And it split up my content. That's okay. So the reference, I'm going to move inside of the p tag, and let's move that form tag back inside of that p tag also. So now we have the form, we have the reference, and then degree program, specify program. So what I might do is I could give this actual text and I could just copy it from this section. So I'm going to copy the text from this section, Control C, and inside of my reference tag, I'm going to right click, select properties, and I'm going to add this in as the actual text and select close. This will provide all of that content from that section, and then we can artifact it. Let's also take a look at our form field for this particular section. I'm going to go to prepare form, and I want to right click that checkbox, select properties, and right now it says checkbox 1, but that's not really an appropriate tooltip. So instead, I want to give it something else. Will this course credit be applied to a degree program. That's a better tooltip, and we'll select close. And while we're here, we can actually just update these other ones. I'm gonna right click the checkbox, select properties. Will this course credit be applied to a certificate? I'm gonna actually copy that tooltip, select close. Let's do it again for this other one. Properties to a certificate. Will this course credit be applied to work related? Select close. Let's do the same for this wellness to a wellness class. Select close. Right click this checkbox to a wellness activity and select close. We can then do the same for these other form fields. I'm going to right click, select properties. This one says degree specify. So I'm going to say specify degree program. Right click the next one. Specify certificate program. This will be, please describe how this course is related to your work assignment. Line 1, I'm going to copy that. We're going to paste it in for line 2. And then for wellness, let's right click properties, specify class for wellness selection, close, specify wellness activity and select close. All right, so that's the form section. Let's go ahead and close that piece out, go back to our tags panel, and we need to do a few more things. Let's go ahead and get these references tagged again. I'm gonna open up the reading order tool and select these number 1 elements, select reference because it's gonna pull it out of my tag structure. Reference, close. All right, so to confirm, we have this first p tag correct with all of our tags. Now we need to do the next one, and that's going to include, I'm just going to move everything into the tag first. Move the reference, let's move the text, and let's see if we can find, okay, the form field was nested under this other tag, so I'm going to drag that form field up underneath my p tag, and then let's find the other form field. There it is. You know what? I need to place I need to enter in a placeholder for that other form field. So I'm going to right click, select new tag, form, and then let's move that form field to the right location like that. All right, now this p tag is set up correctly. The only thing is we need to add that text from this reference into the actual text of the reference tag. So let's select the reference tag, right click, properties, update actual text, and select close. And now that p tag is ready to go. We have just a few more to go. I want to do something else though. So these labels seem to have some phantom content tagged, and I want them out. So I'm going to select these blank container tags that appear to contain the lines from the boxes, and let's right click and change tag to artifact just to get them out, and I can start to delete some of this content out. Can't do all of it yet. And then we're going to move on to the next p tag, which is going to be that work related tag. So we've got the reference, we'll move it into that p tag. What else do we got in here? We've got the actual text. We can delete this list item out, and then let's find the form fields, which appear to be nested under a different list item. We've got this blank line in here. We're just going to right click it and change tag to artifact, and we can delete out this list. Let's see. And now we need to find the 2 object references for work related. Oh, but actually I need to move the order of these around and create that form placeholder before I can move those 2 in there. So this one and this one, hold my control key, and I'm just going to drag those tags up above into my form parent tag. And now we have a properly formatted section for that area. Let's do the next one. So wellness, I just want to move all of this stuff into the p tag for now and delete out this extra junk. We've got the form field for the checkbox. We've got, that's for the next one. So form, text, let's put in a new form field placeholder for the body of that. We're going to drag it up under its form field, and that one looks ready to go. Next up, we have this last one. So we have the text for it. We then have the form field. That's perfect. We can delete that list item out. And then we need to add a form placeholder, and let's move that form field into the right location. And just like that, now we have a heading 2, p tag, p tag, p tag, with all of our form fields and checkboxes properly formatted in the reading order tool. Next up, we have some content that should be a reference. I'm going to select it and create tag from selection. And what that does is it separates it. So I'm going to right click inside the tags panel and let's create a reference tag. And I'm going to move the star into it. And we can do the same thing here where we find oh, I see. I did that incorrectly. Let me move it back to where it goes and delete the reference tag. So this is the reference because we have a double star here and a star up here. So let's try this again. I'm going to open up the reading order tool and we actually need to tag this as a reference. I'm trying to grab that star, just the star. I don't want the period. Sometimes you got to zoom in. There we go. Mark that as a reference. Now let's go back up here and sort of fix it. So we've got the p tag reference. I'm going to Control X the reference and put it inside of that p tag. And now what we can do, because this has a form field in it, we actually need to link it. So I need to add a link to this. So to do that, I'm going to select the star, right click it, select create link, and we're going to go to page view, invisible rectangle, select next, and we're going to use the scroll bar to move my screen right there, and we're going to say set link. And now when we click on it, it will take us directly to that location. But now we need to update our reference. We're going to right click it, select properties, and in our actual text, I'm going to say the star refers to note on bottom of page 1. And select close. And there might be something else we need to do there, but for now, that's properly formatted. When we run our checks, we might have to add in an annotation. All right, so once again, this is missing a form field. Let's see if we can find it. Let's create the placeholder. I'm gonna right click new tag, type in form, and let's find that form placeholder. There it is, drag it in there. And then we can delete this placeholder from earlier in the tags panel. And then the double stars, it looks like it's only indicated one time here. And so I missed this earlier. We need to mark this as a reference, these double stars. So I'm gonna use reading order tool. I'm going to grab them, mark as reference, and it's probably gonna mess the tags up, but let's find it. Where did you go, reference? Okay, it did put that in there. Okay, and now we could actually artifact this line too. All right, the reference is in there. Now we're going to select this text, Control C, right click the reference tag, properties, and enter actual text. And now I can actually artifact this text. So I'm gonna right click it, change tag to artifact, select page, because now the text is in the right location and it's not gonna disrupt the reading flow of the document. All right, it could be that they don't want this document signed on the computer, so we might just leave this content like we did before. But if that's the case, I'm just gonna artifact it all because we don't want all of that junk appearing inside of our tags panel. So again, I'm making the executive decision to artifact all of this content. Right click, change tag to artifact, and then we're gonna delete these empty tags out. And now we're on to page 2. So I can update this part tag and just say page 2 if I really wanted to. Also this print form, this needs to be inside of a p tag. So let's just do that. New tag, p tag, I'm gonna move it inside of that. Let's open up the form field section because I just want to fix this form thing right now. Prepare a form in the tools panel. We're gonna select that option, right click it, select properties, and go to actions. It says execute a menu item, and then let's add, and then we're gonna do Adobe menu print. So that's all we're gonna do, and select close. And now that form field, the button is properly formatted. All right, let's go back to the tags panel and get into our page 2. We're gonna change this top level tag to a heading level 2, not a heading level 3. We have a p tag followed by a section tag with a whole bunch of stuff. I'm gonna remove all of these tags from the section tags, as I think section tags are just kind of annoying sometimes. This tends to happen when we use automated tools like the auto tagger that we did before. And I'm simply just gonna move all of those out so I can delete the section tags. All right, we've got H2. This will be in H3. We can artifact these zeros. Requirements for reimbursement. We can leave it in there even though we already tagged it in the actual text. Let's right click, change tag to artifacts. Requests for disbursement will be a heading level 2. So I'm pressing F2 on my keyboard to update the tag and then sign and submit the form. And we have, again, all of this content in here. I'm just gonna artifact it because it looks like it's meant to be filled in by hand. And so if that's the case, Again, I'm just going to make the executive decision. Now, if I were working in the office, I would ask my supervisor if they wanted these form fields fillable, in which case I would come back in here and add all of the form fields in. So let's right click all this content, change tag to artifact, and there we go. Delete the blank tags out. Now, let's check the accessibility of this document. And there's a couple of things we can fix. Let's see if we can fix them. So I'm gonna right click the primary language failed and select fix. We are setting this to English. Let's right click the title and select fix. Now it's passed. Tagged annotations. Aha, so it was that one reference tag. Let's open up the tags panel and I'm gonna find that little annotation. And then we're gonna use the accessibility options button from the tags panel. And we're gonna select find, and then we're gonna say unmarked annotations, search the page and select find. And it found that link and we're gonna tag it and select close. And that's the fix for that tagged annotation. Let's go back to the accessibility checker, run it again, character encoding. So this is like my least favorite fix to do because it often will create problems. I'm going to save the file right now because there's a good chance this is gonna break. So it looks like the form fields were just placed over that text in the background. So we're gonna try a trick. We're gonna select the edit button and we're gonna see if we can, oh, we can. I'm gonna see if I can just delete these objects out because the checkbox is still in there, right? We just don't need like the placeholder. Delete. So what I'm doing right now is deleting the square text on the background because it's not needed. And I'm hoping that when I run the check again, yay, it deleted all of those errors. All of these needs manual check work good. There's no time responses, there's no scripts, there's no screen flicker. Color contrast is fine, and the logical reading order is good. Let's save the file. And what I want to do now is let's open up the pack tool and let's test this bad boy. I'm going to drag my file into the pack tool and we've got a couple of errors for PDF UA. So we need to embed our fonts. Let's do results in detail. Fonts, font embedding. Okay, we can fix this, I hope. Nesting of a link annotation. Link annotation is not nested inside of a link structure. Let's see if we can fix that. Oh, I see. So in my reference tag, I need to right click and create a link tag and then move the link object reference inside of the link. So that'll fix that one. The other one was embedding a font. So let's go to our all tools, use print production. We are going to do pre-flights, use our single wrench icon, and then let's embed missing fonts. Save the file. Looks like we might have an issue there. Let's go ahead and run pre-flight again, and this time we're going to do the UA standard. So let's set PDF UA entry, save the file out again. And now let's run it again in the pack tool. Alternate descriptions. Oh, okay. One more thing to do in the pre-flight menu. We got to close it, launch it again. And this one's going to be annotation. We're going to type in to the single fix. And we want create content entry for link annotations. Select fix. Save the file out again. We can close the pre-flight menu. Let's open up the pack tool again. And let's test our file. And we did it. We've got a PDF UA and WCAG compliant document. That is going to work with the screen reader. And that's it. Well, that was quite the form to fix. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, please take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button and share this video with any of your colleagues who might be interested in learning how to make a PDF accessible. If you would like additional training or if you would like someone to simply take over this process for you, check out the link in the description to find out how I can help you get accessible. And as always, I can be your personal accessibility expert. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.